With the new Lord of the Rings series coming out, I thought that it would probably be a good idea to refresh myself on the first movie, as it opens with like this flashback exposition sequence covering the construction of the rings and the downfall of Sauron, and then of course the rest of the movie is the rediscovery of the One Ring to rule them all. I'm not a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. I've seen the movies, I like them, but I've never read the books other than The Hobbit, and I don't go back and watch these movies super often, though I have recently, in college, I wrote a paper on some of the movies. And I also recently rewatched the first movie on an airplane flight at the beginning of the year. So it's like, I don't know if I want to just watch that same movie again for this video, but you know what I've never done? I've never sat down and watched the extended editions. And obviously the people who are big fans of the franchise, which is a lot of people, say that the only way to watch these movies is to do the extended edition. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to sit down and for the first time watch the Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Rings extended edition and find out, is it worth the hype? So here we go. Okay, I knew these movies were longer, but I didn't actually realize that the extended edition of the first movie is 3 hours and 40 minutes long. Whew. Alright, here we go. Alright, I'm close to an hour in, and so far I'm enjoying it. There have been a couple extra scenes. I particularly enjoyed the one during the party between Bilbo and Frodo, where Bilbo pulls Frodo aside and is like, hey, I've been selfish, you're my favorite member of the family. I enjoyed that exchange. I feel like it defined their relationship a bit more than what is offered in the standard edition of the movie. I kind of thought that the intro sequence of 2,000 years ago, the ring and Sauron, I thought all of that would be longer and expanded on, and I'm kind of glad that it isn't. I'm glad that even in the extended version, it's like, yes, this is exposition. We are going to make it as visually interesting as possible, but we're not trying to make characters out of any of these people that are doing the things. You're the person that gets the ring, or anything like that. Even though, like, the elf dude, who we do meet later, is an actual character, we are not, for this segment, none of these people doing historical things in the lore of Lord of the Rings, none of them are characters. They are vessels to convey the exposition that leads to the story we are telling. I'm glad that that wasn't drawn out. I was kind of worried that it would be. I did just watch the scene where Gandalf goes to the master of his order to seek his advice and wisdom on the Ring of Power. I've got to say that's often been one of my least favorite scenes, probably in the whole trilogy of Lord of the Rings movies, because Gandalf doesn't look great, and I don't just mean that Saruman beats him in their eventual wizard's duel, because obviously the hero shouldn't win every fight. It establishes Saruman as a threat. It shows, yes, this is why Saruman is the head of the order. He is more powerful than Gandalf, but I mean, Saruman being the bad guy, Gandalf should have seen it coming. First of all, the main villain's, the evil Dark Lord's name is Sauron. The wizard's name is Saruman. But even if you put the name aside, Gandalf doesn't realize that he's turned to Sauron's side when he goes to leave, and all of the doors in Saruman's castle magically shut in his face, preventing him from leaving. He's just like, oh, an inconvenience that this door closed on me as I chose to walk towards it. Let me turn to, oh, that door's closing too. Let me turn it, oh, that door's closing too. Let me turn to the left. Oh, they're all closed. He's not concerned or curious about this. And it takes Saruman going, I have joined with the Dark Lord, before Gandalf, there's the close-up on him, and he's like, I can't believe it. When did Saruman choose the way of madness? Dude, he was closing the doors to stop you from leaving. Why didn't you realize this was what was happening? But that aside, I am overall enjoying it so far. I am a little less than an hour in, which means that I've got about a little less than 3 hours to go. But, you know, so far so good. Alright, so we've just escaped the Mines of Moria. Of course, barely. That is where Gandalf gives his "You shall not pass!" Which, I mean, some epic delivery. I love Gandalf throughout this whole movie. His scenes with Frodo especially. So it's always, you know, I'm like, every time which I've seen this movie 3 or 4 times, but every time we get to his death, I'm like, oof, yeah, rough place to end the first movie, forgetting that there's a lot more, especially in the extended edition. I've got well over an hour left. And yeah, the movie kind of dips, in my opinion, for a little bit after his death. I think this is the first area where I've been like, alright, come on. But otherwise, aside from the little tiny bit after the Mines of Moria, even though this movie is a lot longer than the regular edition, I've never really felt like it's stretching things out needlessly. The scenes, the exchanges, the extra shots that it adds in, all do add things to the overall story so far. And I do understand a bit more of the characters and some of the world, though I don't understand entirely the elves and the woods they go to right after Moria are like, hey, you bring a great evil here. We're not going to let you go any farther. Okay, so come see our queen. Alright, yeah, you can stay here for that. Okay, we're going to give you gifts and boats and the clothes of our kind, which we've never done to anyone before. They're like, I guess we're supposed to assume that Aragorn convinced them in Elvish to do that, but to dedicate screen time to going, hey, nah, you're bringing this great evil in here, no further for you, and then to have that not go anywhere or be resolved with dialogue that we can see, or Elvish dialogue that's subtitled on screen, but it's just kind of happening in the background while Frodo is thinking about the responsibility of the ring. It's, you know, a little strange. But I know I've criticized 2 sections of the movie, but really that's all that I have to criticize. This movie is really good. There's no doubt about that. It's easy to forget that it's over 20 years old now. It still holds up. There has not been a section where I'm like, oof, yeah, yikes, that CGI or whatever, those effects would have been done better now. I'm sure stuff would have been done differently now, but nothing that is done has been done poorly. I'm enjoying it overall. I've got a little bit more than an hour to go. I know we've got the big orc fight to go. We've got Boromir betraying Frodo. But I feel like that's coming up soon. I don't really know what or if anything happens after that. So we'll see. I'll probably talk to you again right after I finish the movie. So see you in a sec. Okay, so the last half hour of the special edition is all the credits, and of that 20 minutes is naming every single member of the Lord of the Rings fan club. So, cool. So yeah, that was the extended edition of Lord of the Rings. The Fellowship of the Ring. Do I think it's better than the actual movie? I think so. I think it adds some more depth to some of the characters and some of their relationships to each other. and kind of fleshes out the journey just a little bit more. Do I think it's absolutely essential viewing? No, I don't think it's absolutely essential. But, you know, if you're willing to put in the extra little bit of time, I think it does add stuff to the experience. So, is it worth the hype? I think as much as the main Fellowship of the Rings movie is worth. And if you're already a large fan of the franchise or of the trilogy, then, you know, I think it's worth a little extra time investment. So, yeah, sure, it's worth the hype. That's all that I really have to say. It's a good experience from start to end. One or two bumps along the way, in my opinion, but, you know, a good time, a good movie. So, I'm glad I did it. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching. By the time this video is released, the new Lord of the Rings series will have premiered. I haven't seen any of it yet. Please let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. What do you think of the extended editions of the Lord of the Rings? And should I watch the other two? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good week.